Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 4-game NBA main slate on Sunday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. If you guys cannot watch these YouTube videos, I do upload an Apple Podcast with a link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you guys are interested in signing up for premium content, I'll offer that on patreon.com. Couple different packages, also linked down below. And then I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this show. If this is your first time watching or you're not familiar with what Prize Picks is, again, it's a site where you're taking over-under on fantasy points. So, for example, Kawhi Leonard is projected for 45 fantasy points. Do you like the under? Do you like the over? Again, they have a bunch of different sports: NFL, NBA, PGA, esports. So if you guys want to sign up, you can use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. So basically, if you put $100 in, you get $200 to play with. And finally, I just want to thank you guys again for the continued support. Again, hit 8,000 subscribers a couple days ago. If you do enjoy this content, leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when to upload videos, you know when to go live. Let's aim for 200 likes in this video. And as always, I will be doing a live stream before lock on my YouTube channel to go over everything. But yeah, with that all out of the way, let's jump in the video. So before we talk about players and their prices for this 4-game slate, let's look back at my lineup here from Saturday. So Saturday, I've warned people. I've warned a lot of people that, if you're just getting into DFS, you're going to get popped multiple times throughout your career. It's just, you're going to get popped. And what happened tonight for me and for a lot of you, we got popped. Let's go over my lineup. So, also, blowout in the Houston-New Orleans game was super tilting because Zion Williamson at 7-4 was only 18% owned, and they got pulled with about 6 minutes left. So, man, Zion was on pace to crush at low ownership. I couldn't believe how low owned he was. Lonzo Ball was more popular too. Again, I was really high on the New Orleans team. It was Lonzo and Zion that I used. Zach LaVine, just because shooting guard was pretty weak, he went for 44 fantasy points. Cody Zeller was really solid, only 45% owned. I thought he was one of the best, probably the second best value play behind Xavier Tillman. He went for 37. And then the Spurs and Memphis and San Antonio game. Can we talk about the minutes here on both sides? Now, I was wrong about Memphis. I thought, sure, they hadn't played in like a week, but I was like, they're not, again, these players are not like just going to be sitting on the couch all day. They're going to be still in good shape, but the coach went for the safe route, and these were the minutes for, first, Memphis. 28 minutes for John Morant. Now, Ja still went for 37 fantasy points in 28 minutes. I was expecting 35 minutes. If we get 35 minutes, he goes for 50 plus, right? So it's like, I was wrong in the minutes. If we get those minutes, he absolutely crushes, and it was only 46% owned. Xavier Tillman, only 21 minutes, had 24 fantasy points. I was expecting closer to the 30-minute mark. So again, was wrong on those Memphis Grizzlies. I thought they would play more. They did not. The bench unit actually, I think they played more. DeAnthony Melton played 32 minutes for some reason. Gorgie Jang played 27. So it's like the bench unit basically played more on Memphis side. And then on the San Antonio side, this is where we really got popped. DeMar DeRozan, for the season, he's averaging like mid to high 30s minutes. 25 minutes for DeMar DeRozan. 28 for DeJounte Murray. Now, DeJounte Murray closer to what he usually plays, around the 30 to 32-minute mark. 25 minutes for DeMar DeRozan. So, yes, we got popped. 40% owned, 7 fantasy points for DeMar DeRozan. It's not like he was playing well, but still, 25 minutes, really Popovich. That was super. The minutes in that Minnesota, or the minutes in the Memphis San Antonio game were just so tilting. If we get 35 minutes from DeRozan, 30-ish from DeJounte Murray, and like 35 from Ja, 30 from Tillman, it's a much different slate. But yeah, did not expect those minutes from either side. So just got to take the L there. Now, what I am really mad at myself for, and I talked about this in my YouTube video plus in the Patreon live stream, Jimmy Butler is like my favorite GPP play because, and once we got the news that there's no minutes restriction, I was like, man, if he actually plays his, like, I was thinking, okay, that's coach talk. Is he actually in his normal minutes? I was like, if he actually plays 35 minutes, there's a good chance he could break the slate at 7-3. And he played, I think, 35 minutes and went for 50 plus. So what I'm really mad at myself is I'm a risk taker, right? I play these GPPs. I should have just played Jimmy Butler over DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, I'm mad at myself for that one. I really am, because I think I should have tried to get him in there. Once we got the news there's no minutes limit for Jimmy Butler, I should have prioritized getting him in there, but I did not. So, yeah, and then also, again, getting popped didn't help either. But that's a look back, guys. I will, real quick, we can go over my in-game showdown. I made a video for this if you guys are curious. When there's blowouts in these in-game, the fourth quarter in-game showdown, there is a huge edge. Almost had a takedown once again. Had 5 entries, doubled my money here, but yeah, was really close to first place. Pascal got back spasms and did not play the second half. Would have been nice to know. But yeah, it was, the reason I went with this lineup was Okafor's 8% owned. So the second unit for Detroit checked in super early in the third quarter, right? With like Stewart and D, like all those guys checked in super early. So I'm looking at that. It's like a 30-point game. Like, all right, it's going to be the third strings here for Detroit. So I want Jahlil Okafor, 8% owned. I want Frank Jackson, 8% owned. And then Sekou was only 22% owned. And then I used the, the end of the bench guys for Golden State with Wanamaker and Poole. I was expecting Pascal to get, the run in the fourth. And yeah, did not play because of the back spasms. Would have taken it down. If Pascal plays, would have taken down first. So that was, pretty tilting. It was really close to the takedown in there. But at least I won my money back for the slate basically with that. So, yeah, that's it for the look back, guys. All right, let's go to NBA. I know it's a little bit longer. Sorry for the I probably should have went through that a little bit quicker. But, all right, we have 2 of the 4 games out for the main slate. There's a 2-game early slate, too. But, yeah, 76ers, Pacers, a 223.5 over-under. And Cavs and Timberwolves, a 219 over-under. The Cavs are 3.5-point favorites. All right, so let's talk about Philly and the Pacers. So on the Philadelphia side, Joel Embiid is listed as questionable. Man, I'm still tilting about him only playing 2.5 quarters that last game. I had him at 5%, and he went for 60 fantasy points. If he plays the fourth quarter, I'd probably get the takedown. If Joel Embiid plays, I like him a lot here below 10K. Even in this matchup, I think he's a guy that is still underpriced. Now, if Joel Embiid is out, it's right back to Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. So, like, Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris are only guys I'm going to get to if Embiid is out. If Embiid is in, I don't want to play either of them. So again, that is strictly dependent on Embiid news. And then obviously Dwight Howard, right? If Embiid is out, Dwight Howard becomes the best value play of the slate. But I'm only playing Dwight Howard if Embiid is out. So it's like, if Embiid is in, he's the only guy I like on Philly. Could you make an argument? I think Seth Curry would maybe be the guy I would take a shot on to hope he hits his shots, but he's scoring dependent, so somewhat low floor. Kind of same thing with Danny Green, Shake Milton. Don't really love anyone if Embiid is in besides Embiid. If Embiid is out, it's Ben Simmons, it's Tobias Harris that become 2 of the better plays of the slate, and then Dwight Howard for value. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. On the Indiana side, so Domantas Sabonis, I think, is a little bit underpriced at 9-1. Not necessarily the best matchup, but he's going to play close to 40 minutes. Again, stuffs the stat sheet, but super consistent. I think that is a little bit too cheap. I do like Sabonis. Malcolm Brogdon's gone for 40-plus the last 3 games. Again, I don't love the matchup for him, but I think he's a viable play. And then Miles Turner, if Embiid plays, I never liked targeting centers to control Embiid because of foul trouble concerns. That would be my worry with Miles Turner. Still no LeVert, still no TJ Warren. Jeremy Lamb, if McDermott is out, I would be a little bit more comfortable with Jeremy Lamb's minutes. He's gone a little bit up and down to the minutes, right? 20, then 33, then 21, then 31. So it's hard to feel really confident, but I think if McDermott is out, that's one less body in the rotation. I would feel a little bit better about Jeremy Lamb's minutes. So if he's out, I would feel more comfortable going to Jeremy Lamb in the mid-range. And that's probably it for me. Like, you can go to Justin Holiday. The minutes will be there, but again, a lower usage guy. I don't love it. Let's move on to Brooklyn and Washington. So this is by far my favorite game to target on the slate, and it's not even close. Not even close. Love this game, especially if James Harden is out. So we'll have to monitor that. James Harden is currently questionable. If James Harden is out, I love Kevin Durant. I love Kyrie Irving. They are too cheap in this matchup. As long as this game stays close, both these guys should play around 40 minutes in just an absolutely smash spot. So would really like Kyrie, would really like Kevin Durant if Harden is out. Joe Harris is fine. Again, he's just reliant in the scoring. He gets his fantasy points from three-pointers, so don't love that. DeAndre Jordan at 5.2, that seems priced about right. I think Jeff Green's like okay. He'll play about the 30 minutes. He's been, getting over 20 last 4 games. Again, he's fine. If Harden is out, we could look to Bruce Brown. Was a little bit tilted. He was somewhat popular last slate, and he bailed people out. He was doing nothing until the very end of the game when it was a blowout. He checked back in, and I think he had like 15 real-life points in like the last 4 minutes. So tilting, because I was like, when someone told me that last slate that Bruce Brown was going to be like the chalk, I was just like, why? And he ended up bailing people out because of the garbage time. If Harden is out, I think he's fine. I think he'll play 20 to 25 minutes. It is a good matchup. Definitely not a must play though. And then, like TLC would be viable as well. He'll play about 20 minutes probably if Harden is out. It's like those two would become decent value plays. But that's it. Like Reggie Perry is like, he did play 19 minutes the last game, but that was partly due to the blowout. I don't think there's anyone else really. Like, I don't want to play Landry Shamet. I just don't think we have to do that. So it would be Kevin Durant and Kyrie at the top for sure. And then, a couple of value plays, with like Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, TLC would be in play. Now, if Harden is in, that takes I have no interest in the value. If Harden is in, then it's a little bit trickier because trying to figure out where the production is going to come from those main 3 guys is a little bit hard. But I think, getting to 1 or even 2 of them would not be a bad idea just because of the fantastic matchup. So we'll just have to keep an eye on James Harden status. On the Washington Wizards side, so Russell Westbrook was one of my favorite. Him and Trae Young were one of my favorite GBP plays that last slate. Trae Young, I think, won for 60. Russell Westbrook was on pace for a massive game, and he got ejected in the fourth quarter. So I feel for you. If you played Russell Westbrook that last slate, that was a really good tournament play, and he got ejected. There was no news of him being on a minutes limit, so that's why I was like, I think Westbrook is a really good play if he plays his normal minutes. He was on pace for like mid-30s minutes, and then he got ejected. I assume there's no limit on him. I'm guessing we get mid-30s minutes. If that is the case, $9K for Russell Westbrook is too cheap. So I really like Russell Westbrook there at $9K. I think Brad Beal firmly in play as well at the top. Doesn't have as much upside playing alongside Westbrook, but would still be viable. So those 2 Washington guards I do like. Prefer the price on Westbrook. The rest of Washington, I'm just not touching anyone on this slate. Even if it's a 4-game slate, there's just no way I'm dealing with this headache. Basically, every single person is back besides Neto and Thomas Bryant. I'm expect like everyone to play somewhere around like 10 to 15 to like 20-ish minutes. There's just no way I'm taking a shot on any of these guys. Like Rui, he played 24 minutes the last game. I'm not paying 5-1 for Rui for mid-20s minutes. Davis Bertans also played 25 minutes. Relying on the scoring, you could go there, but again, very score independent. Ish Smith is back at 4-3. I could see, he would maybe be the one value guy I could see taking a shot on because he's like a decent point per minute guy. So maybe Ish Smith would be the one, but Robin Lopez, Robinson, Denny, there's just too many guys. Like Alex Len actually got decent run. He played 17 minutes, but it's like Mo Wagner was just coming back. He even got a little bit. I don't trust anything about the secondary pieces for Washington, so I'm just going to completely stay away. Orlando and Toronto. So on the Orlando side, this game, at least in the Magic side, I think will be a little bit lower owned. Vucevic at 8.7 had a floor. The Magic just got crushed by the Clippers. I don't mind going back to him. He'll be a contrarian option. He always is in these slates. I think he's a decent contrarian play at that price. Aaron Gordon, back-to-back dud games for him. You can buy low. The ownership will be low on him. I don't love it, though, against the Raptors. I'm not paying 6.5 for Fournier. No thank you on Ross. Cole Anthony is just all right, sure, if you land in him, fine. He's had some decent games, some somewhat floor games. There's really just not a lot I like on this Orlando team. On the Toronto side, so a little bit more I like here. OG's out, Norman Powell's doubtful. So Fred VanVleet is one of my favorite plays the last slate, went for 50 fantasy points. I'm high on him again. The price only went up $200. He's been their best player this year. He's been their most consistent player. Yes, there's been a couple times where he's had floor games, but most of the time Fred is getting you 35 plus fantasy points. So and again, can stuff the stat sheet with the rebounds, with the assist. I do like Fred VanVleet a good amount. Siakam's been a little bit more up and down. Still has 40 plus fantasy point upside. I think he's a solid play. The good thing with these main Raptors guys is the minutes will be there. There's no worry about them being limited at all. Unless someone gets in foul trouble. Lowry's been a little bit disappointing. I think he'll be the lowest owned of the bunch, but 7.2. He's still a decent player. He still has some upside. So I have interest in the main 3 Toronto guys. Again, OG's out. Norman Powell is doubtful. So now we got to try to deal with the headache of these bench guys for the Raptors. Chris Boucher is just not playing. 13 and 14 minutes. I don't like. He did 4 fouls, I guess. You can take a shot on him for tournaments. Some games they'll extend him and play 25 to 30 minutes. Some games they'll play him 15. So literally the definition of a GPP play. Like I said with LaMelo Ball. Now, if you play LaMelo Ball tonight, obviously you know you got lucky, right? Because Terry Rozier got injured, so he got extended. I was like, if I knew LaMelo Ball was going to play 30 minutes, he would break the slate. And how many minutes did he play? I think he played 30-ish, or maybe even over that, and he broke the slate because Rozier got injured. Like, Boucher is one of those guys where if the minutes are there, he will crush. It's just a matter of, will the minutes be there? And that's a good question. I have no idea. Stanley Johnson at 4K did only play 19 minutes. Don't love it. Aaron Baines, I actually do have some interest in him for value. Has played 23 minutes in back-to-back games, a decent point per minute guy. Like earlier on in the season, he was a guy that would start and play like 5 minutes, and that's it. Now, like last 5 games, 23, 17, 15, which is not great, 23 and 23. So it's like, if he starts and plays 23 minutes, I think he can get me there. Now, will he play 23? I'm not convinced. They've been a little up and down, but I do have some interest there in Baines against a bigger team, right? The Magic are big with Vooch, so like I don't think they can really go small ball much. So like I think Baines plays over 20 minutes. If that's the case, I actually do kind of like him for value. Terrence Davis started, did only play 19 minutes, but again, he's an aggressive player, a good scorer. I would have some interest in him if he starts. A little concerning he did only play 19 minutes with that start, but I think he would be viable. Yuta Watanabe, I gotta admit, like I was giving him a hard time the other day when he was like getting minutes over Chris Boucher. He's actually been pretty good. He played 24 minutes, so he played like the most of those like value guys for the Raptors. I think you can take a shot at him. Again, it's just like I don't really feel good about like any of these fringe guys. Like DeAndre Bembry even played a little bit. Matt Thomas, I think, got a couple minutes. It's just hard to feel really confident about those Raptors value plays. So really for me, it's the top 3 guys. Probably prefer Van Fleet the most, but like Siakam and Lowry firmly in play as well. I think Boucher is still in play for tournaments. It's just a matter of does he get the minutes. And then value-wise, I think Baines intrigues me. I think he could get over 20 minutes in this one. I have some interest in Terrence Davis. One concern is he only played 19 minutes on the start. And then, maybe you can go to Yuta Watanabe, honestly. He's been playing all right for this Toronto Raptors team. Finally, Cleveland, Minnesota. This is just going to be an ugly game. The late night hammer here. We have Andre Drummond at 8-4. I'm not going to lie. The price, this is kind of tempting. Now, with Andre Drummond, you got to know you're not going to get over 30 minutes from him. Unless something crazy happens, he's playing about 28 minutes in close games. But this is a great matchup against this Minnesota front court. I think Andre Drummond could get it done in 28 minutes. I do like him for tournaments. I don't know if I go there in cash games, but for tournaments, I do have some interest. I think Colin Sexton is a decent play as well. I never love getting to Sexton because he's a guy like a point guard that, sometimes he'll have some assists, but a lot of the times he'll hover around 2, 3, 4 assists, which makes him kind of scoring dependent for a point guard. But I do like this matchup a lot. He's played 35 minutes in back-to-back games. He's an aggressive player too. He will get shot attempts up. So I think Colin Sexton is viable at that price. I'm not going to get to Nance. Garland's all right at 5'6", not playing as many minutes, hovering around the 30-minute mark. Again, decent play. Some of these guys I'm like, all right, if you land on Jarrett Allen, sure, we'll probably play 20 to 25 minutes. I guess that's fine. I'm not going to get to Taurean Prince with Nance back. There's no chance I'm playing Isaac Okoro. I don't care how many minutes he plays. And that's really it for me. So Drummond is the guy. I probably like the best returns. I do have some interest in Sexton, though. I think he plays 35. If he plays 35 minutes again against this Minnesota team, you could see an upside game there from Sexton. And then I think Garland's fine in the mid-range. That's probably it. On the Minnesota side, this team, I do not like seeing this team on the schedule. D'Lo is questionable once again. I expect him to play. He played the last game. Did only play 25 minutes because of the blowout. I don't really have a ton of interest in him if he plays. Just not playing huge minutes right now. Malik Beasley's at 6'6". Gonna get about 30 minutes. He's been their best player so far this year, but it's I don't love the price on him. This is pretty big news, Naz Reid. He is questionable. If Naz Reid plays, you can take a shot at him in tournaments. The one concern is the foul trouble issues. He is a guy that is in foul trouble a lot. But if he stays out of foul trouble, we probably get mid to high 20s minutes. Then he could get it done. If he is out, I think Ed Davis becomes a pretty solid value play. Ed Davis played 23 minutes, had 13 fantasy points. Again, not great, but like this is a big Cleveland team, right? With Drummond, with Jarrett Allen, with Nance, they can't go small ball. And if Naz Reid is out, we already have Cat out. If Naz Reid is out, they just don't have a ton of options at center. So like Ed Davis probably will have to start and probably play at least 20 minutes. So I actually would like Ed Davis a decent amount if Naz Reid is out. Vanderbilt came off the bench. I do like Vanderbilt as a player. The concern is just minutes, right? Feels like he's only going to play about mid-20s minutes. So it's like, yeah, I think he's fine if you land on him, but I can't really project him for more than like 23, 24 minutes. Now, Anthony Edwards is also intriguing for GPPs. Started that last game, played 29 minutes. The thing I like with Anthony Edwards is the shot attempts. Like he's not scared to shoot the ball. The thing I dislike, doesn't do a ton of the peripheral stats. Like the floor is pretty low on him if he is not hitting his shots. And like 5'3", it's like we're no longer getting him at an amazing discount. But like I could see going to Anthony Edwards if he starts again for tournaments. The rest of the plays, I'm just not going to anyone. This is like the bench unit. This reminds me of Golden State. There's just too many guys, and everyone's playing like 15-ish minutes. I'm not playing Rubio. He's been terrible this year. There's no way I'm playing Jake Layman or a coach. Like all these guys are playing like 15, 20 minutes. They're all like low usage guys. Like I don't want to play Josh Okogie. I don't want to play like Noel. Actually got some minutes, but it's just like, how do you trust these guys? McDaniels will probably play about 20 minutes. He played 20. Like, sure, if you want to punt with one of those guys and hope they get you 15, sure. But I'm not dealing with that headache on this 4-game slate. So that's really it for the video today, guys. If you haven't enjoyed the content this far, I would really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos you don't want to go live. Thanks again. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow.